According to the Lord's parable, murmuring consists of 3 steps, each leading to the next in a descending path to disobedience. First, the servants began to question. They felt to exercise their own judgment upon the instruction given by their master. They questioned first in their own minds and then planted questions in the minds of others. Questioning came first. Second, they began to rationalize and excuse themselves from doing what they had been instructed to do. Thus, they made an excuse for disobedience. The third step inevitably follows, slothfulness in following the commandment of the master. The familiar pattern of murmuring is again seen in the family of Lehi. When the prophet Lehi sent his sons to Jerusalem to obtain the plates of brass, they met much opposition. First, Laman was ejected from the house of Laban for merely asking for the plates. After the sons of Lehi offered to pay for the plates with gold and silver, Laban sought their life and confiscated their property. The brothers huddled in the cavity of a rock to assess the situation. Laman and Lemuel murmured. It began, as always, with questioning. "How is it possible that the Lord will deliver Laban into our hands?" they said. Next, the excuses. "Behold, he is a mighty man, and he can command 50, yea, even he can slay 50. Then why not us?" Finally, they were slothful. Filled with anger, resentment, and excuses, Laman and Lemuel waited by the walls of Jerusalem while the faithful Nephi accomplished the work of the Lord. The Lord has spoken against this attitude in our day. "But he that doeth not anything until he is commanded, and receiveth a commandment with doubtful heart, and keepeth it with slothfulness, the same is damned." We have sustained by uplifted hand our living prophets. We rejoice in the privilege of hearing the revealed word of God in our day from our living prophets. What do we do when we hear them? Do we follow the instructions of our living prophets with exactness, or do we murmur? Is it easier in our own age to follow a living prophet than it was in the days of Moses or Nephi? Would those who murmured against Moses and Nephi not also murmur today? The same questions can be asked in reverse. Those who murmur today would also have murmured as did Laman and Lemuel, or the children of Israel, against the prophet of their day, with the same disastrous consequences. I invite you to focus on the commandment from living prophets that bothers you the most. Do you question the commandment, that it's applicable to you? Do you find ready excuses why you cannot now comply with the commandment? Do you feel frustrated or irritated with those who remind you of the commandment? Are you slothful in keeping it? Beware of the deception of the adversary. Beware of murmuring.